Good day everyone, especially to you Ma'am Ador. So our topic for today regarding Module 3 was all about the following written in the text above. So I'll be going to explain the institutional agencies in the Philippines, Code of Kalanchaw, Bilibid Prison, Correctional Institute for Women, New and Old Bilibid Prison, and so on. Let's take a look to the next slides for us to understand those following topics. Our first topic is all about the institutional agency of the Philippines. The corrections in our country was introduced and started during pre-colonial era, meaning the day or times when our country was not yet colonized by the other countries, and it was organized by the individual in community basis. We have the Bureau of Prison. So the Bureau of Prison was created during and under the Act of 1905, as this agency was also under to the Department of Commerce and Police. Another thing, under the new Administrative Code of 1987, the Bureau of Prison was renamed into Bureau of Corrections that was issued on November 23, 1987 together with the proclamation number 495 of the President. Before we proceed, let's define first the Reorganization Act that was being mentioned in the Bureau of Prisons. So in year 1907, the Reorganization Act was the one that re-established the San Ramon prison that was destroyed during the Spanish-American War in year 1898. The main penitentiary of Bureau of Prison was the old prison in Oroqueta Street in Manila that was established in year 1847 together with the section 1708 of the revised administrative code. So meaning that the Bureau of Prison main penitentiary was the old Bilibid, not the new Bilibid prison. In January 1, 1915, the San Ramon prison was placed under the support or guidance of Bureau of Prisons, and it was started receiving prisoners that came from Mindanao. Another thing about San Ramon prison is that the Americans established in year 1904 the Luit Penal Settlement, and later on it was called Iwahig Prison and Penal Farm on a vast reservation of 28,072 hectares before the reconstruction of the said San Ramon Prison. Also, the San Ramon Prison was located on the westernmost part of the archipelago and very far from the main town in order to confine incorrigibles where the government had found at least a little hope of rehabilitation. So if we're going to talk about how big was the hectares of San Ramon Prison is that it was expanded to 41,007 pesos hectares in line with the virtue of Executive Order number 67 that was being issued by the Governor Newton Gilbert on October 15, 1912. And now, let's move on to the next topic, which is all about the Correctional Institution for Women or CIW. It was created under Act number 3579 on November 27, year 1929. On the other hand, the Davao Penal Colony in Southern Mindanao was opened in year 1932 under Act number 3732. So the reason why CIW was founded too, in order for them to separate those who are male and female, because basically men and women should not be put in the same prison. They should be put in separate place or jail. And now, let's identify what's the difference or how Bilibid Prison improved from old to new Bilibid Prison. First, we have new Bilibid Prison. So in year 1935, the new Bilibid was established in Muntinlupa. Same thing with the old Bilibid Prison. But the old Bilibid Prison, as what it is being mentioned above, that it is transformed into receiving center and a facility in farm. Also, the prisoners have to build their basic housing areas using materials that are only available in the prison reservation. On the other hand, we also have the Sablayan Prison and Penal Farm. So what's with Sablayan Prison and Penal Farm? Okay, so as what you can see there, that it was being established or issued on September 26, 1954 in Occidental Mindoro together with its proclamation number of 72. At the same time, the Leyte Regional Prison was issued on January 16, 1983 under with the proclamation number of 1101. So much for that. Let's move on to the Code of Raha Kalanchaw. So this Code of Raha Kalanchaw was said to have been written in year 1433 by the Dato Kalanchaw and also a chief on the island of Negros in the Philippines because they believe that the code was supposed to be a legal code in the history of Maragtas. Many people in the history believe that the said code of Raha Kalanchaw was part of historical fiction Las Anticas Leyendas de la Isla de Negros that was written by Jose E. Marcos in year 1913. So if we're going to go back in the history, it said there that Jose E. Marcos wrote about the Code of Kalanchaw in year 1917 from his book entitled Historia Prehispana de Filipinas, or in English it was the Prehistoric History of the Philippines, where the content of this book was only for the important matters that happened in the history. Next, we have James Alexander Robertson. He is an American historian and the one who presented the manuscript on a paper entitled Social Structure in San Francisco on year 1915. He is also a notable proponent of anti-Spanish, which is Black legend. He deliberately deformed such translations in documents of the Philippines. Moving forward to William Henry Scott. So he is one of the doctoral candidate in year 1965. He took an examination of pre-Hispanic sources for the study of Philippine history in the University of Santo Tomas. Anyways, let's now move on to the National Historical Institute, or NHI. You can see there that the Code of Kalanchaw has no valid in terms of historical basic in year 2004. That was under by the resolution of number 12. Going back to the laws of Kalanchaw Code. Cecilio Duca, in his book entitled Struggle for Freedom in year 2008, he provides a full reproduction of the code to the reader's critical examination. The following are the articles under Code of Kalanchaw. So first, we have article number 1. For this article, it simply means that we should not do such bad actions towards other people like killing or stealing. It is strictly prohibited, especially to those aged people. If we don't want to experience this kind of treatment to other people, we should respect others. Next, we have article number 2. This means that whatever instructions or law given by the entitled personnel, like the law enforcement, we as a human should obey those laws and rules, because if we will not follow or obey all of those, we might face consequences. Then we have article number 3. In relation to the article number 2, which is obeying, so in this case, in article number 3, we should obey such rules that young women should not be exposed into excessive lust kind of thing. Next is the article number 4. This time, the word observe and obey was interconnecting with each other, because if we obey, that's the time that we can adapt and develop the word observe, and through that, we can't disturb other people who want to have a quiet and peaceful life at all. Also, the article number 5, just like to the other articles, we should obey, and whoever wants to exchange its food, let it be. as long as you're not forcing him or her to do that, like it should be done through the one who's asking for changing of food. Next is the article number 6, where it stated there that whatever we do, we should do it with respect, and whoever fails to do it will face a big consequences, like that person will pay through working in a month for gold or money. Also, if that person committed it twice, that means he or she considered as a slave. For this article, it stated there that people who killed animals and that can be found in trees like birds or in ocean like shark should die also. Next is article number 8. This article talks about those people that consider as a slave one, like those who steal away the woman, those who possesses dogs that bites and so on. For article number 9, it means that they shall be slaves for given time who sing in their night errands, kill manual birds, tear documents belonging to the headmen, who are evil-minded liars, and who play with the dead. Article number 10. One of the biggest obligation as a mother was to teach and show to their daughters those things that are lascivious, for them to prepare their daughters in terms of womanhood. Also, those men shall not be cruel to their wives, nor should they punish them when they catch them in act of adultery. And people who disobeys this code or law shall be punished, like they will be thrown to the caimans. Next we have is article number 11. People who do force or cunning have mocked at and eluded punishment, or people who have killed young boys or shall try to steal the woman of the old men shall be burned. Then the article number 12. People shall be thrown, all slaves who assault their superiors or their lords and masters, and people who abuse their luxury, also who kill their anitos by breaking them or throwing them away. And the article number 13. People who kill a black cat during the new moon or steal things belonging to the headman should be put into ants for half day. Next is the article number 14. Those who have a beautiful daughters shall deny them to the sons of the headman, or shall hide them in bad faith, otherwise they shall consider as a slave for life. We also have article number 15. So if we're going to relate it to their superstitious beliefs, people who eat bad meat or respected insects or herbs that are supposed to be good, and who hurt or kill those animals like the young manual bird and the white monkey shall be whipped or will be punished. Next is article number 16. Their fingers shall be cut off to those people who break wooden or clay idols in their onlangangs, he who breaks Tagalnan's daggers for hog killing, or breaks those vases that can be used as a drinking water. Let's proceed to article number 17. People will be killed if they profane places where sacred objects of their diwatas or headmen are buried. Also, those who gives way to the call of nature at such places shall be burned. And the last article, which is article number 18, referring to those who do not cause these rules to be observed. If they are headmen, shall be stoned and crushed to death, and if they are old men, shall be placed in rivers to be eaten by sharks and crocodiles. Those are the law or the code of Kalanchaw, and we can say that all of those code are so important and needs to be followed, or else we will face a lot of consequences or punishments. And now, let's move on to the next topic about the 7 institutional correction of the Philippines. First is the New Bilibid Prison or NBP. This prison can be found in Muntinlupa, Metro Manila. New Bilibid Prison was the main insular penitentiary designed to house such prison population of the Philippines. The BUCOR under the Department of Justice was the one who maintained the New Bilibid prison that has 26,877 convicted criminals as of May 2018. The land area of this penitentiary has an initial of 551 hectares or 1,360 acres. The 104 hectares or 260 acres were transferred to a housing project of the Department of Justice. So here is the question. What are the different facilities of the New Bilibid prison? So in terms of educational facilities inside the compound or in the New Bilibid prison, they have elementary education, high school education, vocational training, and adult literacy programs. The second part of institutional correction of the Philippines is San Ramon Prison and Penal Farm. So based on the history, on August 21, 1870, the San Ramon Prison was established in southern Zamboanga together with royal decree promulgated in year 1869. This prison was considered as the oldest penal facility in the country, and the prisoners in that particular prison are required to do such works like agricultural. The prisoners in San Ramon were hastily released and the buildings destroyed in year 1898 by the time of Spanish-American War, and the American administration re-established the prison farm in year 1907. In year 1912, General John Pershing, the chief executive of the Department of Mindanao and Sulu, classified the institution as a prison and penal colony, and therein confined people sentenced by the courts under his jurisdiction. Under his supervision, there are several buildings with a total capacity for 600 prisoners that are constructed. So after how many years the colony has changed, it became more practically good as self-supporting that has 75,000 coconut trees, and aside from coconut, there are also rice, papaya, and other crops that were cultivated to contribute to the colony's self-sufficiency. On November 1, 1905, the Reorganization Act No. 1407 was approved, creating the Bureau of Prisons under the Department of Commerce and Police on November 1, 1905. If we're going to talk about the most popular prison in the Philippines, it could be the Iwahig Prison and Penal Farm. This prison was known as the most popular prison in the Philippines. The Iwahig can be found in Barangay Iwahig in Palawan. The Iwahig and Penal Farm has 4,000 total of inmates, but this can be changed every year or days. Moving forward to the Iwahig Penal Colony, so it was established in year where the Americans colonize or occupies here in the Philippines. Talking about the superintendent and the lieutenant and the first prison director, he is George Wolfe. He is also a member of U.S. Expeditionary Force. In the province of Palawan, there was this one person named Luke Wright. So he is a governor and the one who authorized the establishment of the penal colony on November 16, 1904. The settlement of the said penal has an area of 22 acres that serves as a depository for the prisoners that the Bilibid prison in Manila cannot handle it or accommodate those prisoners. The Department of Commerce and the police moved to turn the institution into the center of a penal colony, supervised in accordance with trends and the time in year 1906. The police also became the Department of Public Instruction. After all the efforts that the department did, the Philippine Commission of the United States government passed Act No. 1723 in 1907, classifying the settlement as a penal institution. Without any effort or sacrifices, probably this act will not pass or will not be accepted. So by August 16, 1959, the president named Carlos P. Garcia created a committee in order for him to study the state of national prisons. So the prisoners in Iwahig was divided into two groups. Those two groups named the settlers and the colonists. Let's now move on to the next topic, which is all about the Correctional Institution for Women, or CIW. So as what you can see there, that the Administration Order Number 287 created by the President of the Philippines noted that before the building, which is referring to the separated building, was constructed especially for women prisoners, that all female prisoners will confined at the old Bilibid prison on Azcaraga, Saint Manila. This was reported on January 22, 1959. When the day comes, February 14, 1931, the women convicted were transferred from the old Bilibid prison to the building where only girls are allowed in the inside. Then the next topic is all about the Davao Penal Colony. So if there is Iwahig Penal Colony, there is also Davao Penal Colony. Okay, so when we say Davao Penal Colony, it is the very first penal settlement that only Filipino administration organized and founded this kind of penal settlement. This type of Davao Penal Colony was formally established on January 21, 1932 by the virtue of Act Number 3732. We have this Act Number 3732 where it authorized the Governor-General to lease or sell the lands, buildings, and improvements in San Ramon Prison and Iwahig Penal Colony. So only this situation was entitled to the Act Number 3732. Because of the imperial forces who attacked the Davao Penal Colony, there are a lot of prisoners have escaped, and it happens way back December 20, 1941. The person who discovered or founded the Davao Prison and Penal Farm named General Paulino Santos together with the virtue of Act 3732. Also, the Proclamation 414 series of 1931. Okay, so after the Davao Penal Colony, there is also a Sablayan Prison and Penal Farm. This type of prison was nearer to Manila than other colonies, and it was located in Occidental Mindoro. Also, it was established on September 26, 1954 by the virtue of Presidential Proclamation Number 72. The penal colony has a total land area of approximately 16,190 hectares. Sablayan Prison and Penal Farm. So this penal farm has a product that talks about the agriculture like the rice. This kind of agricultural rice supplies some people who needs it, especially to the NBP. So the question goes like this: how many prisoners are in Sablayan Penal Colony? So based on what I have searched, that there are 526 inmates in Sablayan Prison and Penal Farm in our country, which is the Philippines, as of November 2021. So next topic was the Leyte Regional Prison. It is located in Abuyog, Southern Leyte, and was established after the declaration of martial law in 1972 by virtue of Presidential Decree Number 28. The next is the Provincial Jail System, or PAO. The PAO provides indigent litigants free legal assistance. So here is the mission of PAO. It exists in order to provide indigent litigants, the oppressed, marginalized, and underprivileged members of the society free access to courts, judicial and quasi-judicial agencies. So that was for its mission. Let's now proceed to PAO's vision. So this type of agency was God-centered and responsive to the ever-growing legal needs of the indigents. So here is the main objective of PAO. So it seeks to provide the indigent sector to access the counsel at the time of need and to implement the free access of constitutional guarantee and equal protection of the laws PAUs together with the Republic Act. Rueda Acosta, this person was the head of PAU and the fourth placer in the 1989 bar. So that's it for my report. Thank you and once again, good day.